On November 10, Archangel Michael reopened a door that was wrongfully closed. Restoration is already underway. What's yours is returning. My beloved soul, listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration. On November 10, Archangel Michael reopened a door that had been wrongfully closed in your life. A door that was sealed not by God's command, but by injustice, misunderstanding, or unseen forces that tried to delay your destiny. And now, restoration is not just promised, it has already begun. Can you feel it? The spiritual atmosphere around you has shifted. The resistance you once felt is losing its power. The energy of stagnation is being replaced with divine motion. Archangel Michael, the warrior of heavenly truth, has drawn his sword once more, cutting through every chain that tried to bind your progress. Heaven is speaking. What was taken from you without reason is now being divinely restored. This is not merely symbolic. This is prophetic action. November 10 was the turning point, the day when the divine court ruled in your favor. The accusations, the delays, the false endings, all have been overturned. You may not see the full picture yet, but signs of return are already surrounding you. Unexpected messages, opportunities revisiting, people reappearing, and a sudden sense of peace replacing confusion. Beloved, Archangel Michael stood before the throne and declared, "The gates must open again." And when he spoke, the vibration of those words rippled through realms. The spiritual lock shattered. The doors that once denied you began to creak open, and heaven whispered your name again. Do not mistake the silence for absence. What's yours is traveling back toward you. Finances, favor, relationships, even reputation. All that was unfairly taken will now find its path home. This is not karma. This is divine justice. You are standing under a spiritual verdict of restoration. And hear this carefully. You are not just receiving what was lost. You are receiving it multiplied. Archangel Michael doesn't restore lightly. When he reopens a door, he does it with force, authority, and heavenly decree. The path that once led to disappointment will now lead to double honor. Wait before you scroll. Understand this. The moment you recognize this message as your confirmation, the restoration quickens. The more you align with faith right now, the faster what's yours returns. Something is already shifting even as you listen. A divine hand is reversing the order. So lift your spirit and declare this with power. The door is open again, and I step through it. Because from this day forward, you are no longer waiting for restoration. You are walking into it. Child of light, what you are feeling right now is not confusion. It is divine alignment. When Archangel Michael reopens a door, it doesn't just affect one area of life, it restructures timelines. The pieces that once didn't fit are being rearranged by invisible hands. Those who once walked away without reason are feeling the pull to return. Opportunities that seem dead are being resurrected in silence. Heaven is rewriting the story, and this time, your name is written in bold on the front page. Archangel Michael's intervention is never gentle. It is swift, precise, and backed by authority. The energy around you is vibrating with justice because heaven has declared that you suffered enough. Every delay that came through betrayal, manipulation, or false accusation has been recorded in the book of remembrance. When the door reopened on November 10, a divine ledger was reset. The time you thought was wasted is now being redeemed, and what was closed prematurely is being reactivated. You must understand something profound. Restoration doesn't always look the way you expect it to. Sometimes it comes disguised as a strange message, a random encounter, or even an internal shift of peace that suddenly replaces anxiety. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Archangel Michael is ensuring that you receive what belongs to you without contamination, without interference, without delay. He stands as your defender, saying, "Enough hath been taken. And now, release what is theirs." And pay attention to this truth. When heaven reopens a door, it's not just about you. It's about every soul connected to your assignment. Your restoration will ripple through others. When you rise, others will find courage to rise too. The enemy tried to keep this door sealed because it wasn't just a blessing, it was a bridge. That's why so much warfare surrounded it. But now, the very gate that was meant to block you is becoming your testimony. This season is not about chasing what left. It's about magnetizing what's meant. The vibration of divine justice has already gone out into the world, and it is pulling back your blessings like metal to a magnet. Even if you feel forgotten, you are being remembered in heavenly places. People who once overlooked you will suddenly remember your name. Projects that were delayed will start to move again. Things will begin to align faster than logic can explain because Archangel Michael's decree cannot be undone by human hands. Before you move forward, breathe in this moment. You are standing in the corridor between loss and restoration. The door has already opened, but now it's your responsibility to walk through it with faith, not fear. You cannot enter a new season with the mindset of the old one. Let go of resentment, of why it happened, of who caused it, because all of that is irrelevant to what God is doing now. The energy of restoration cannot mix with the energy of revenge. Forgive, release, and prepare to receive what's coming next. And listen closely, this is where it gets even more profound. The restoration you are stepping into carries memory. Everything that is returning will recognize you. Blessings have an imprint of your frequency, and Archangel Michael is ensuring that they locate you with accuracy. That is why sudden alignments, unusual dreams, and recurring signs have been intensifying lately. Heaven is confirming that the process has begun. Hold on, because the next wave of revelation will take you deeper into what's really being restored, not just your possessions, but your purpose. Wait for it, you will want to hear this next unfolding. Beloved vessel of light, this is where the revelation deepens. When Archangel Michael reopened that divine door on November 10, it wasn't merely an act of restoration, it was a correction of time itself. You see, there were moments that were stolen from you, moments when you were meant to be seen, moments when your work was supposed to be rewarded, moments when love was meant to be received. All of those moments were trapped behind that sealed gate. But now, time is folding back on itself to deliver what should have always been yours. The heavenly timeline has been recalibrated. The season of delay is collapsing into the season of fulfillment. Do you remember the dreams that used to wake you at night? The visions that felt too vivid to be imagined? They were not random. They were divine previews. You were glimpsing fragments of a reality that was already written but had been delayed. Now, those visions are coming back, not as dreams but as reality. Archangel Michael has been moving in your atmosphere, gathering every scattered fragment of your purpose, commanding lost pieces of your identity to return. Every tear you shed was counted, and each one has watered the soil for this moment of rebirth. And the Lord is saying through Michael's message, what was denied shall now be declared. The very voices that spoke against you will have no choice but to witness your elevation. Those who questioned your worth will see the hand of God rest upon you so evidently that even your silence will speak louder than their disbelief. Heaven has prepared a public table before you, and Archangel Michael stands as the guardian of that manifestation. You will not need to fight for it. Your only task now is to stand in expectancy. But do not grow passive. Restoration requires agreement. The spiritual door that has reopened must be walked through with faith, with gratitude, with purity of heart. You cannot stand outside and admire the open gate. You must step inside and claim your inheritance. This is where many fall short, lingering in observation rather than participation. The angels are waiting for your yes. Say yes with your words, with your actions, and with your worship. Say yes to being restored, not halfway, but completely. Now pause and listen within yourself. Can you sense the movement? The vibration under your spirit is the sign that heaven's army is surrounding your field. Every effort you make from this point forward will be amplified by divine force. That is why distractions are rising, why doubts are whispering again. It's because something magnificent is about to unfold. Archangel Michael is clearing the last of the residue. What was meant to destroy you is now becoming the testimony that defines you. Before this revelation deepens further, I want you to do something simple yet powerful. Speak aloud. I am stepping through the open door. This is your declaration of agreement. This is how heaven seals your alignment. And as you speak it, imagine the light flooding through that doorway, washing over every broken promise, and breathing life into every dream that once faded. And now, if this message resonates with your spirit, take a moment to give it life. Press the like button, comment your confirmation below, share this message with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel so that more souls can awaken to divine truth. Your engagement is not just support, it is participation in spreading light through the voice of Archangel Michael's revelation. When you give to this mission, you are not supporting a channel, you are fueling a divine movement. Every seed you sow helps Archangel Michael's message reach hearts that are broken, weary, and waiting for confirmation. Scripture declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and that word is alive right now for those who act. I'm inviting you, yes, you who feel this stirring, to become part of heaven's restoration army. Through your super thanks, membership, or even a gift through PayPal link in the description, you are helping release light into places of darkness. Your giving is not a transaction. It is an act of obedience that carries prophetic weight. As you give, may open heavens pour divine restoration into your own life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So now into the flow of restoration that Archangel Michael has opened, and watch how heaven multiplies your seed with power. Precious one, now that you've stepped through the reopened door, something extraordinary begins to unfold. What is happening in your life at this very hour is not ordinary. It is divine rearrangement. Archangel Michael has not only unlocked access but also repositioned your name in heavenly records. There is a great spiritual order being restored, and you, beloved, are standing in the center of it. Every delay, every confusion, every false ending has been rewritten under the decree of divine justice. Where there was once resistance, there will now be acceleration. Where there was once silence, there will now be sound, the sound of answered prayers echoing back to you. You may have noticed subtle shifts lately. Doors opening that once rejected you, people reaching out after seasons of distance, sudden thoughts of hope returning when you had already surrendered. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the restoration is manifesting. Archangel Michael is not just releasing blessings. He is restoring order. The same hand that once shielded you from what wasn't meant for you is now guiding you to what truly belongs to your destiny. You are no longer operating under delay, but divine timing. What you thought was detour was actually divine redirection, leading you to a path prepared long before the battle began. Heaven wants you to know this truth. nothing that was yours was ever truly lost. It was being preserved, protected, and hidden until you were ready to receive it without contamination. You may have felt forgotten, but you were being refined. The closed door wasn't punishment, it was preparation. When Archangel Michael reopened it on November 10, he didn't just restore access, he restored your authority. The anointing upon you has deepened. The wisdom you gained through pain has become your armor. You are no longer the same person who once knocked on that door. You are now the one who walks through it carrying divine fire. Take a moment and realize that your restoration is not merely personal, it is generational. What God restores through you will ripple through your lineage. You are reversing curses that tried to pass through bloodlines. You are the point of divine interruption. Archangel Michael is clearing ancestral patterns that kept your family in cycles of loss, and he is declaring, the pattern ends here. From this moment forward, blessings will flow unhindered. The enemy has no legal right to your inheritance anymore. But do not be surprised if the atmosphere around you feels both heavy and light at once. Attention is proof that the spiritual transition is active. Darkness always trembles when light returns. You might feel sudden emotions rising, memories resurfacing, or unexpected thoughts visiting your mind. Do not fear them. They are being purged by divine light. Archangel Michael's sword is not only breaking external barriers but also cutting internal ties to the past. This is why it's vital for you to stay still and trust the process. Every release is sacred. Every moment of silence is filled with heavenly movement. Now, as this divine order unfolds, heaven whispers a word over your spirit. Reclaim. Reclaim your confidence. Reclaim your vision. Reclaim your name. For too long you allowed circumstances to define your worth. But today, heaven defines it again. You were chosen before the foundations of time, and no earthly failure can undo a heavenly decree. Restoration is not a process of earning. It is a process of remembering who you've always been. Before you look away, listen. What happens next will unveil the full measure of this restoration. You will want to hear it, because what's coming next explains why the warfare was so intense and why your breakthrough had to wait for this exact moment in time. Chosen soul, now the restoration begins to reveal its hidden purpose. When Archangel Michael reopened that long-closed door, it wasn't just to return what you lost. It was to reveal who you have become through the waiting. The trials you endured were not meant to destroy you but to extract the gold from your spirit. Every disappointment purified your discernment. Every betrayal taught you to recognize counterfeit connections. Every silence refined your ability to hear God without noise. Heaven used pain as the sculptor and patience as the chisel, and what stands now is a vessel capable of carrying divine authority. Look closely at your life in this very moment. There are places where you once begged for movement and saw none, yet now they are beginning to breathe again. Dreams that once felt distant suddenly feel attainable. People who once doubted you are silently observing your rise. This is the subtle fingerprint of Archangel Michael's work. He does not announce the restoration loudly. He lets your life become the announcement. You are the testimony. Your transformation is the evidence that heaven has moved. But the Spirit warns, do not rush this season. Restoration is unfolding layer by layer. But God restores slowly, He restores securely. If He handed you everything at once, you might lose what you were not ready to sustain. That is why Archangel Michael stands guard at the pace of your blessing. He ensures that every piece returns in divine order. Some things will reappear instantly. Finances, favor, divine helpers. Others will resurface quietly. Peace of mind, clarity, inner stability. The latter is just as miraculous as the former. And yet, you must stay alert. Whenever restoration begins, opposition rises as distraction. People from your past might attempt to re-enter, not because they've changed, but because they feel the energy of your rising. This is where discernment becomes your shield. Not every voice that calls your name deserves a response. Archangel Michael whispers, "Guard the gate of your peace." He is teaching you that not everyone who left deserves to return, and not every opportunity that knocks is divine. Wisdom is the companion of restoration. Do you notice how everything seems to be moving faster now? It is because the divine clock has caught up to your obedience. Time is no longer against you. It is for you. Things you thought you missed are looping back into your path, this time without delay. The same seasons that once crushed you are now carrying you. Even the wind that blew against you is now pushing you forward. You are in the current of restoration, and heaven's momentum cannot be stopped by earthly resistance. And listen, there is a hidden blessing in the weight you endured. Because you suffered with grace, you will carry an anointing of empathy. When you speak, people will feel peace. When you pray, things will shift. When you walk into rooms, the atmosphere will change. Archangel Michael is not only restoring what you lost, he is multiplying your influence. The new door is not a return to your old life. It is the threshold to a greater calling. Hold steady, because what's about to be revealed next will show you why this door had to stay closed for so long and what power has now been released through your endurance. The next revelation will open your eyes to the divine secret behind this restoration season. Beloved heart, we are entering the most sacred layer of this revelation. The reopening of the divine door was not just an act of mercy. It was an act of divine correction. Archangel Michael moved not only to restore what was lost, but to bring justice to every imbalance that was recorded in your story. You see, heaven keeps perfect records. Every betrayal, every lie spoken against you, every opportunity taken from you was written in the archives of divine memory. And when the decree of restoration was issued on November 10, those records were brought before the throne. The scales of justice tilted back in your favor, and from that moment forward, heaven began to rewrite the outcomes that were once used to suppress your destiny. This is why things are shifting so fast now. What was previously locked behind spiritual delay hath been released like a flood. You might be noticing synchronicities, doors opening one after another, conversations that seem divinely orchestrated, and even memories resurfacing to be healed. These are not random. They are signals of spiritual recalibration. Archangel Michael, the defender of divine order, has stepped into your atmosphere to ensure that no demonic interference can tamper with your path again. His sword burns with the light of justice, cutting through every invisible chain that had once restrained your forward motion. The Lord says, "I am redeeming time for you. What would have taken years will now take months. What once demanded effort will now unfold with grace. You are walking under an accelerated anointing. The same energy that delayed you is now being forced to propel you. The spiritual laws that once worked against you are now working in your favor because heaven's decree has been issued. Every setback is now a setup, and every loss is becoming a layer of gain. You will not only recover, it will multiply. And yet, this divine acceleration demands awareness. Restoration is not meant to overwhelm but to awaken. As doors open, ask yourself, which of these align with the divine frequency of peace? Because not every opportunity will be heaven-sent. The enemy knows he has lost the battle of denial, so now he attempts to confuse through imitation. That's why Archangel Michael stands as your guide in this season, whispering discernment into your spirit. You will feel it when something is divine. It will come with peace, not pressure. It will feel like alignment, not anxiety. Follow that still inner knowing, for that is heaven's navigation system within you. And this is crucial. Do not return to old mindsets when you step into new blessings. You are no longer waiting for favor. You are walking as favor. What you carry now is a mantle of divine authority. This authority comes with responsibility. Speak words carefully, think thoughts intentionally, and protect your energy fiercely. The moment you accepted restoration, you became a steward of heavenly justice. You now represent what redemption looks like on earth. That means how you handle your restoration will determine how others experience theirs through you. The truth is, this season is not about recovering possessions. It's about recovering identity. Heaven is reintroducing you to who you've always been. The false version of you that was shaped by rejection and fear is being dissolved. You are meeting your divine self again, the one who was never broken, only hidden. That is why you might feel unfamiliar with your own energy lately. You are remembering yourself through heaven's eyes. Archangel Michael is clearing away the final shadows of doubt so you can walk fully as the restored version of who you truly are. Stay close now, because what comes next will uncover the real reason the door was reopened and why your restoration carries global significance. You are about to see that this wasn't just about your life. It was about your assignment to ignite restoration in others. The next revelation will expand your understanding beyond the personal and into the prophetic. Type "I walk in divine justice" in the comments if this word is stirring something in your spirit. Blessing code 6066 has now been activated, the number of heavenly balance and multiplied recompense. Beloved vessel of restoration, this moment carries the weight of divine purpose. You have walked through the gate. You have felt the wind of change, and now heaven is revealing why the door had to reopen precisely when it did. Archangel Michael did not act on impulse. He acted on divine synchronization. There was a sequence of heavenly alignments waiting to converge, a set of circumstances that could only manifest once your spirit reached maturity. That's why it felt like everything was delayed. You were not being denied. You were being developed to handle the magnitude of what would come once the door was opened again. Every season of silence trained your ears to discern heaven's whisper. Every closed opportunity trained your heart to trust divine timing. And now, because of that preparation, you can walk through this door with authority rather than anxiety. Archangel Michael's mission has never been about giving you back mere possessions. It has always been about positioning you for kingdom impact. This restoration is a calling, not a convenience. You are being reestablished as a carrier of divine order in a world drowning in confusion. That is why the warfare was so relentless. The enemy feared what would happen when you remembered who you are. There are people waiting for your restoration because your testimony will unlock theirs. You carry keys forged in the fires of endurance, keys that will open healing for those who have been crushed, hope for those who have been overlooked, faith for those who are near giving up. Archangel Michael is reminding you that restoration is never private. It ripples through realms. Your story is not just personal. It is prophetic. Every victory you receive sends out a vibration that awakens others to the reality of divine justice. That is why heaven needed this door to open publicly. The world needed to witness that God's promises are not myths. They manifest. You may start to feel a pull toward new assignments, projects, connections, or callings that stretch beyond what you've known. Do not resist them. They are part of your expanded territory. Restoration does not return you to where you were. It advances you into where you were always meant to go. The new opportunities arriving now will align perfectly with your spirit's frequency. Archangel Michael will ensure that only what carries divine truth can enter your atmosphere. That's why, in this season, peace will be your compass. Wherever peace dwells, divine purpose follows. This is also a time to release gratitude as a weapon. Gratitude will accelerate manifestation. When you thank heaven for what's returning, you magnetize even more restoration into your field. Every word of thanks is like a beacon that signals to heaven, I am ready for more. Speak your gratitude aloud, not as a ritual, but as a declaration of alignment. Archangel Michael responds to hearts that honor the process. The more you thank, the more you attract. And beloved, prepare your heart for one final truth. The restoration that began for you is now beginning to multiply through you. You will soon find yourself speaking words that bring comfort to others, even without planning it. You will inspire hope without effort. The light returning to your life will reflect through your presence. People will feel lighter around you. This is the evidence that heaven's work within you is complete and now overflowing. Stay tuned in your spirit, because what unfolds next will be the climax of this divine message. You will understand how to sustain the restoration so that it never fades again. What is coming next is the revelation that will teach you how to live as a guardian of the open door, not just a receiver of it. Type I carry the light of restoration in the comments if you feel heaven confirming this word within you. Blessing code 7077 has now been released. The number of divine completion, spiritual overflow, and multiplied testimony. Dearest child of divine purpose, you have now reached the sacred moment where heaven's restoration shifts from personal to prophetic. Up until now, everything that has been restored to you carried your name, but from this point forward, it carries your mission. The door that Archangel Michael reopened on November 10 was not meant for you to stand in front of, it was meant for you to walk through and hold open for others. You are not only the receiver of restoration, you are the gatekeeper of it. Every act of grace that returns to you now becomes a channel for light to flow through you into the lives of those who are lost, forgotten, or weary. There is a divine reason this season feels different. The energy around you has changed because heaven has shifted your position. You are now standing not as the one in need of rescue, but as the one commissioned to rescue others. When Archangel Michael moves, he never just restores individuals, he restores divine order through them. That means your life is about to become a conduit of miracles. Where there was once pain, there will now be purpose. Where there was silence, there will now be testimony. Heaven has turned your wounds into weapons of compassion, and your endurance into evidence that divine timing never fails. And now, pay attention. You may feel called to speak, to share, to teach, or even to create something that uplifts others. Do not doubt that impulse. It is heaven's invitation. Your voice is anointed with credibility because it carries the vibration of survival. People will listen to you because you've walked through what they are trying to escape. That's why Archangel Michael has surrounded you with divine favor, so that your words will carry weight, your actions will bring peace, and your presence will open doors for others just as yours was reopened. This is the higher dimension of restoration. You have moved from recovery into influence. And beloved, heaven is whispering one word over you now: legacy. This is not about momentary blessings. It's about impact that outlives you. Every seed you sow in the season will multiply beyond measure. Whether it's love, service, or generosity, heaven will amplify it. This is your opportunity to plant into eternal soil. The things you create now will bless generations, not just moments. That is why Archangel Michael hath been urging your spirit to move with courage and purpose. What you build now is not fleeting, it's eternal. Look around you. The signs are everywhere. Resources that were once withheld are returning. People who were once distant are being realigned to support your mission. The spiritual atmosphere around you is open and responsive because heaven has released authority into your voice. When you speak light, light appears. When you declare restoration, it happens. You are walking as a co-creator with heaven now. Every thought you think and every word you speak carries manifestation power. Be intentional. Be aware. The gate you hold open is sacred. And before we continue, I want you to take a sacred pause. If this message has touched your spirit and confirmed what you've been feeling, take this moment to engage, press like, share this revelation with others who need hope, and comment your confirmation below. Your engagement isn't just interaction. It's participation in spreading light through the Archangel's message. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel so that together we can carry this divine vibration to more hearts in need of awakening. Every act of support to this mission is more than a gift. It's a seed into divine restoration. When you give, you help the Word of God travel through voices like this one to the very souls who have lost faith that heaven still speaks. Remember what Scripture declares, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and running over. This promise is alive for every person who sows into the light. As you release your offering through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal link in the video description, you are partnering with Archangel Michael's movement of truth, healing, and awakening. I am personally inviting you, yes, you who feel this stirring, to become a carrier of restoration for others. Your seed will not return empty. It will return multiplied. Heaven will mark your generosity as a prophetic act that opens doors in your own life. Give boldly, and watch how divine favor flows back like a holy tide that never ceases. Beloved, the time has come to walk as one fully restored. You have passed through the gate, stood in the current of change, and now you are standing in the realm of fulfillment. What you are experiencing is not a random sequence of blessings. It is the unfolding of divine architecture. Every detail, every turn, every delay was part of a blueprint designed to bring you here. Archangel Michael is not only your defender, he is your divine strategist. His mission is not simply to shield you but to position you in places of influence where your light can shift atmospheres. That is why, after November 10, things that once resisted you now respond with ease. The frequency of your spirit has changed. You no longer walk as one seeking favor. You are favor in motion. And yet, heaven's greatest restoration is never found in what returns to your hands. It is found in what awakens in your heart. The door that reopened was not only a passage in the physical realm, it was a portal in your soul. Through it, you have rediscovered the truth of who you have always been, a child of divine purpose, untouchable by failure, undefinable by the opinions of others. Archangel Michael's greatest victory in your life was not reclaiming what was taken, but reminding you that you were never truly defeated. Every moment of pain became a teacher, every night of silence became a classroom, and now you emerge as one who carries both authority and understanding. But the Spirit wants you to know, restoration requires stewardship. The same way a gardener tends the soil even after the harvest, you must tend the atmosphere of your blessings. Protect your peace as if it were gold, because it is the currency of the Spirit. Do not allow old fears or toxic connections to enter this new space. When God restores, He expects you to maintain what He gives. That is why Archangel Michael stands guard, not only at the door of your destiny, but also at the door of your discernment. He whispers when something is out of alignment, nudging you to turn away from anything that carries the vibration of the old season. You will notice that certain people or habits are beginning to fade naturally. Don't chase what's leaving. It's part of the divine pruning. Heaven never subtracts without the intent to multiply. The removal you see now is actually preparation for greater occupancy. God is making room. The door didn't reopen so you could return to what was. It opened so you could step into what will be. The restoration you carry now is meant to sustain, to expand, and to bless. You are not revisiting the past. You are rewriting it through your present obedience. There will be a moment, soon, when everything you went through will make perfect sense. The pain that once felt like punishment will be revealed as training. The delays that frustrated you were divine pauses, placed so that you would be ready for the magnitude of this season. Archangel Michael's sword didn't just break chains. It carved a new path through time itself. You are walking that path now, and every step you take sends light forward into your future. Do not be silent in this season. Speak declarations daily. Use your words as instruments of creation. When you declare restoration, heaven moves. When you speak faith, the atmosphere responds. Your voice carries authority now. It is a reflection of heaven's decree. This is how you sustain restoration, not by waiting for blessings, but by commanding alignment through words spoken in truth and faith. Hold on, beloved, because what is about to be revealed next will show you how this restoration connects to your destiny on a generational scale. You are about to see why heaven waited until this exact time in history to release your victory. The next revelation will uncover the inheritance that lies within this open door. Beloved, now heaven calls you to understand the true scale of what has been set in motion. When Archangel Michael reopened that door on November 10, it was not an isolated miracle. It was the beginning of a generational realignment. The decree that restored your path also began to untangle every knot that existed in your bloodline. For years, there were cycles repeating through your family, patterns of loss, rejection, fear, and limitation. These were not coincidences but spiritual entanglements passed through time. But now, because the divine gate has opened, those cycles are being broken at the root. You are the one chosen to interrupt history, to stand as a point of divine reset. Do you realize what this means? Your healing is not just for you. Every step you take into wholeness sends light backward and forward in time, backward to redeem what your ancestors could not finish, and forward to protect those who will come after you. This is the hidden power of restoration. It doesn't just repair, it redefines. The pain you endured was not punishment but permission. Heaven granted you access to the kind of strength that only comes through survival, because that strength was needed to seal the generational breach. Archangel Michael's intervention through you is altering an entire lineage. You may start to notice evidence of this shift around you. Family members who once carried constant heaviness may suddenly begin to change. Old conflicts might dissolve without confrontation. Even the atmosphere of your home might feel lighter, more peaceful, more awake. These are the ripples of your obedience. The moment you accepted the restoration, heaven's current began to flow through you as a vessel. Archangel Michael is guarding this process closely, ensuring that no shadow from the past reclaims access to your lineage. His sword now stands as a barrier between your family and every repeating curse. But understand this as well. Generational restoration comes with responsibility. You must remain aligned with truth and humility. The door that reopened will remain open only through faith and integrity. You cannot step into generational power and carry personal pride. The two cannot coexist. Heaven's blessings flow through surrendered vessels. That is why Archangel Michael continually whispers, "Stay pure in intention. Stay clear in purpose." If you remain humble, the flow will not cease. The light that now surrounds your bloodline will keep expanding. This is also the season where new spiritual gifts will begin to emerge in your life. Dreams may become more vivid, insights more immediate, and your sense of divine timing more precise. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven equips those it restores. The reopening of your door was not only a moment of release, it was an activation. You have stepped into spiritual awareness, and the more you honor that awareness, the more heaven will entrust to you. When you speak now, your words carry weight. When you pray, results follow. When you forgive, the chains of others begin to break. You are no longer an observer of the divine. You are a participant in it. And this is where your heart must rest. You have become the living evidence that God still restores. Through you, people will see that heaven's justice is real, that faith is never wasted, and that time lost is never beyond redemption. Your story will become a manual for others to find their way back to hope. And as you share it, heaven will amplify your reach, for the testimony of one faithful soul can ignite revival in thousands. Hold on, because the next revelation will be the most intimate yet. It will unveil what happens when divine restoration meets divine purpose, the moment where your destiny fully merges with heaven's will. That final understanding will show you how to walk permanently in the flow of open doors. Beloved, this is the moment where the journey of restoration turns into revelation. You have seen the door reopen, felt the atmosphere shift, and watched what was once lost begin to return. But now heaven wants you to understand the deeper reason behind it all. Restoration is not simply about reclaiming what once was. It is about awakening you to who you were always meant to be. The reason the door was closed for so long is because the version of you that stands here now did not exist then. You were not ready to hold what heaven intended for you. But through delay, heartbreak, patience, and endurance, your spirit expanded until it matched the size of your destiny. Archangel Michael was never punishing you by closing that door. He was protecting the promise until you grew strong enough to guard it yourself. Now that you are standing in this place of awareness, you must see yourself through divine eyes. You are not a survivor of circumstances. You are a vessel of heavenly strategy. You have endured what others could not so that you could teach what others must learn. The restoration that has been poured into your life carries instruction, wisdom, and divine authority. You will begin to feel a call to teach, to lead, or to guide. It may not be in a pulpit or a platform, but in the quiet interactions of daily life. How you speak, how you comfort, how you respond to darkness. Every gesture will become an echo of heaven's love. Archangel Michael has now assigned angels of influence to walk beside you, ensuring that your restored light reaches every place it was meant to shine. There is something sacred that happens when a person steps into restoration with humility. The heart becomes magnetic. People who once dismissed you will now listen. Places that once ignored you will now invite you. It's not because you changed their opinion. It's because heaven changed your frequency. You now radiate divine authority, the kind that doesn't demand attention but naturally attracts it. The world recognizes when someone has been touched by heaven's justice. That is the silent power you carry now. When you walk into spaces, peace will enter with you. When you speak truth, confusion will scatter. You are not just living under an open door. You are becoming one. This is also where heaven reminds you to stay anchored. Restoration is not a single event. It is a lifelong rhythm. There will be days when you feel the weight of responsibility, when the very blessings you prayed for begin to require your attention and energy. But this is not a burden. It is a partnership. God trusts you now. You have proven faithful in the delay, and now you must remain faithful in abundance. Archangel Michael stands as your guardian still, not to fight external enemies, but to keep your focus pure. His sword now cuts through distractions. His wings cover your mind with peace. You are fully surrounded by light. And perhaps the most beautiful truth of all is this: everything that was lost has returned transformed. People who walked away may not come back the same. Opportunities may look different, and even your desires may have shifted, but it is all divine. Heaven never gives back exactly what was taken. It gives back what has been purified, perfected, and aligned with your higher purpose. The restoration you are living now is not a return. It is a rebirth. Take a breath and remember this feeling, because what comes next will be the culmination of everything heaven has promised. The next revelation will close the circle, uniting everything you've learned, endured, and received into one final message that will seal this season permanently in your spirit. The final unveiling is not just about the restoration itself. It's about the crown that comes after. Beloved one, this is the hour when the revelation completes its circle. Every word spoken, every vision received, every stirring within your spirit has led you here, to the full manifestation of divine restoration. On November 10, Archangel Michael reopened the door that was wrongfully closed, and today, that same door stands wide in the spirit, no longer as a passage to something lost, but as a gateway into something eternal. This is not simply the end of delay. It is the beginning of divine dominion. What once resisted you now recognizes you. What once blocked you now bows to you. The door that reopened is not behind you anymore. It stands within you. You have become the portal of restoration itself. Do you feel the stillness in your atmosphere? That silence is not emptiness, it is the sound of heaven's completion. The storms have subsided, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are no longer reacting to the chaos. You are commanding peace. This is what divine restoration does. It transforms the wounded heart into a throne of authority. Every pain you carried has now become a prophecy fulfilled. Every delay has matured into divine alignment. And every loss has turned into wisdom that no power can take away. Archangel Michael, the warrior of truth, has now sheathed his sword, not because the battle has ended, but because victory has become your atmosphere. You no longer need defense when you have dominion. Heaven is now calling you to live as a keeper of light. The assignment has shifted from receiving restoration to sustaining it and spreading it. The world around you is filled with souls standing in front of doors that seem locked, waiting for a sign that restoration is real. You are that sign. Your story is their key. The way you live, the way you speak, the peace you radiate, all of it will testify that heaven restores those who refuse to give up. The energy of this open door will follow you wherever you go. When you step into new places, doors will unlock. When you speak over others, breakthrough will be released. This is the inheritance of those who were faithful in waiting. But beloved, remember this truth. Restoration is not a one-time miracle. It is a lifestyle of remembrance. Every time you face a challenge, recall this journey. The door that reopened on November 10 was not just for a season. It was for eternity. It marked your spirit with an irreversible covenant. You walk now under a mantle of divine justice, and that mantle will rest upon your descendants. Your name hath been etched in the archives of heaven as one who endured and overcame. The light that surrounds you is not borrowed. It is born of your own transformation. It will never fade. Now heaven extends an invitation to you to share this message, to become a messenger of hope. The same way Archangel Michael interceded for you, you are being called to intercede for others. Speak life into those who are weary. Remind them that their delay is not denial. Tell them that the same door that reopened for you will open for them in perfect time. Be bold in your love, fearless in your faith, and unwavering in your truth. You are heaven's proof that restoration is not only possible, it is promised. If this revelation has awakened something powerful within you, do not keep it hidden. Let this light travel further. Press the like button, comment your testimony, share this message so others may find it, and subscribe to this channel so that the voice of truth may continue to reach hearts across the world. Every action you take amplifies the message of hope that Archangel Michael has released upon this earth. Type "I am the proof of restoration" in the comments if your heart knows this word is yours. Blessing code 12,121 has now been released, the number of eternal covenant and completed destiny. This is your moment to partner with heaven's movement. When you give into this mission, you are not supporting a platform. You are sowing into souls. Each contribution sends this message of restoration to thousands who are silently standing before closed doors, waiting for a word of hope. The scripture declares, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." That promise becomes living power when you act in faith. Through your super thanks, membership, or PayPal giving link in the description, you become part of Archangel Michael's prophetic army, carrying light into darkened spaces. This is not a donation, it is a decree. As you release your seed, the same restoration that found you will find others, and heaven will multiply your obedience into miracles. The gates of favor will open wider, the oil of provision will overflow, and your giving will echo through eternity as a divine partnership with heaven's plan. So now, and let your offering become a living testimony that restoration truly reigns.